All right, now let's head to Africa and talk about that issue of data and data protection. They say data is the new crude oil right now. So, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect your data? How much is it worth to you, talking about your data? Now, let's talk a little bit about this before we head to other stories on the program. And joining us for this is Mr. Wale Abu, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Liquid Intelligent Technologies Nigeria, and gives us some tips on how to protect our data at this time. Good afternoon, Mr. Abu. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Brother G. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me in your program.
Right. So data is getting a lot of attention, especially with conversations around AI. How valuable our personal data now? What exactly make up those valuable data that I'm supposed to protect?
Thank you. So the digital economy is growing in leaps and bounds. As you know, things that were the stuff of science fiction before are now possible because of interconnected continents. Lots of deployment of infrastructure, digital infrastructure, has made financial transactions very easy. It's happening in nanoseconds, and information is now moving from place to place. Everybody is almost connected. There are millions of devices, millions of people connected on the internet, creating a huge economy. In fact, the digital economy is projected to be about $23 trillion by 2025, just a year away. So in this era that's dominated by digital technology, as beautiful and as rosy as it is, has created so many opportunities, it's also come with its own host of challenges, one of which is the issue of data privacy and data protection. Many countries and people and companies have now started realizing this, and hence you see the increase in data protection regulation. And Nigeria has also jumped on the wagon by enacting its own law in June last year, and also setting up a commission to ensure compliance with data privacy. So typically, if you're looking at what is it that constitutes data, everything, information that you pass, your location, your age, your sex, what you're doing online, where you visit, your data footprint is information. It is valuable. It is used in many ways, sometimes in training algorithms, sometimes in pushing data to you. But what concerns us today is not the responsible use of data, but the inappropriate use of data by cyber criminals, and how you can protect yourself, how companies can also protect users, and how governments can strengthen the frameworks around data usage, data collection, data in motion, so that people can detect, prevent, and respond appropriately to the increasing cyber threats in the world.
Could you share with us some tips? I know you have for personal, and then you have for businesses, organizations. Are there some tips, things that we should know to practice every day to protect our data?
Okay, yes. The basic starting point, I would say, would be, if on your devices, you need to set out multi-factor authentication, you need to set automatic updates, and you need to have strong passwords. Typically, people recommend a 16-digit password, long passwords that are unique for each account. And so some people have very weak passwords, which are easy to crack, and they use the same password across various platforms. So that's something that a lot of people take for granted. You need strong passwords. That's on the personal level. You need multi-factor authentication. You need to update your device automatically, or as soon as the update comes, if you're not automatically set up. On the industry side, you need education. You need to make cybersecurity training mandatory. It is a liquid. People need to get the awareness to understand how phishing email works, how social engineering works. Companies need to do penetration testing. They need to evaluate their systems constantly to keep up with the increased cyber threats. You mentioned AI. It's easy to automate attacks now because the bots that you use to attack, they're very cheap. So you have huge companies. When I say companies, these are people who sit down in offices and actually run a criminal organization that is all about hacking data and using that data for nefarious activities. Then for countries, you need to have the right frameworks to protect data for the country and to enforce compliance with people who collect data from subjects in your geography. That way we have a beautiful chain of individuals, institutions, and governments working in harmony to create a strong, resilient framework that prevents cybercrime and reduces or mitigates greatly the risk of data breaches.
You said that password should be at least 16 words. I'm saying that I think the next line of conversation would be, how do people, and it is risky to have the same password across devices and all of that. Managing passwords will be another conversation because you forget your password or you misplace your password. It's another issue altogether.
Well, there are password managers now, actually. You can maintain dozens of passwords securely. It's now easier than ever because the industry is also changing. It used to be, I know from personal experience too, that was very difficult remembering different passwords for different platforms. But these days, you've got so many ways of keeping several, you need one password, a password manager, and you can easily create strong passwords. In fact, most platforms encourage you, if you are typing in your password, it actually gives you an indication if your password is weak, if it's strong or very strong. Typically alphanumeric with special characters need to be there. A lot of people know this already, but we need more awareness, especially in rural areas. People are getting online without knowing that they're exposing themselves to risk. We hear of cases every time of people whose bank balances have been emptied because they clicked on a phishing link, which is sent directly to their device. They have no way of knowing that this is not real, So things like that need to be properly disseminated by authorities, by institutions, and for people to also take direct charge of their own data. The NDPC is doing very well in this area, but they also have a huge challenge ahead of them. They estimate, I think, from the last discussion that was made public from them, that they need about 500,000 data protection officers just to cope with what we are producing in Nigeria. And you can imagine how long that would take to deploy, how humongous that kind of effort would be for the kind of country that we're in.
All right, Mr. Wale Abu, thank you so much for sharing those tips with us, especially the one with managing your password. I think it comes in really handy. Chief Executive Officer at Liquid Intelligent Technologies, Nigeria. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.